Hello everyone, my name is Chip. Now paint me red and call me a communist cause damn do I love some taxes. But much like the Red Menace itself, modern taxes has some issues. And it's that a lot of the deck's pieces are fighting against each other. This is probably most clear with Leonin Arbiter and Stoneforge. Stoneforge wants to search our library, while Leonin Arbiter shuts down everyone from searching unless they pay 2 mana. Now while this issue is often solved by correctly sequencing your plays, there are times we get ourselves stuck in a jam and suffer for it. The issue I want to talk about today, however, is with Path to Exile. Path to Exile is one of the best, if not the best, creature removal pieces in the modern format. Getting rid of any creature and giving an opponent nothing but a basic land, all for 1 mana at instant speed, sounds pretty top to me. And for the most part, it is. But Path fights against another staple of our deck, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. The taxing effect that Thalia has may be all that's holding our opponent back from casting their board wipe, their walker, or their collected company. But all they have to do is resolve a 3/3, and our Path might just unlock it for them, undoing a lot of the good work that our Thalia has done for us so far. This is what we run Arbiter for, but Arbiter can't always be there for us in those matchups. And in matchups like Prowess, removing their creatures early might be the only way we stay in the game, but giving our opponent that extra land allows them to do so much that we end up dying early anyways. So what's the solution? And honestly, I'm not sure there is one. Perhaps this is just a permanent characteristic of the Taxes deck. You have to decide which line is the most appropriate to take. Path has been the premier piece of removal for a long time, and if Wizards continues the current trend, it's pretty safe to assume it's not getting any better. Looking at you, Divine Gambit. So what are some of our options? Well, we have Dismember, Condemn, Oust, Declaration in Stone, and each has their own pros and cons. But today I'm going to be testing On Thin Ice. On Thin Ice is a 1 mana aura that enchants a snowland we control and exiles a creature an opponent controls for as long as On Thin Ice remains on the battlefield. Now for pros, it's a 1 mana removal spell. It deals with almost any creature, including Emrakul. It doesn't immediately give your opponent anything in return, and it can be blinked with Flicker Wisp in case we take out an early creature and we want to take out a bigger creature later. And now for the cons. It's not an instant. So often you want to react at instant speed to what your opponent is doing, and this just doesn't give you that functionality. Your opponent can eventually get the creature back. They might have to trade another card in to do so, but they can get the creature back. And it has 2 points of weakness, land destruction and enchanter removal. Because we're enchanting a snow land, it can be destroyed and our enchantment falls off and the creature returns. And yes, it requires snow lands to work, and that is actually a bit of a downside for us. So here's today's list. A mono white taxes list with a little spin. Yes, to accommodate for On Thin Ice, we aren't running any horizon lands, just our 8 land destruction lands and 14 snow covered basic plains. This means we can't sacrifice our lands to draw cards in case we flood out. To help with this, I wanted to try out running 2 Uriok Champions and 2 Mirran Crusaders. The main idea being that if we do start to flood out, we have some hard to deal with threats that carry swords very well, and Uriok Champion is also very good against your burn and prowess matchups. And that's today's deck. Now, if you had any questions, comments, or criticisms, please leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, by leaving a like, that lets me know this is more of the content you like to see. And if you really like this video, by showing it to a friend, that is the best thing you can do to help the channel grow, and it keeps the content coming. All right, on with the games. All right, we've lost the die roll. Opponent's going first. Loris of the Dream Den revealed. Well, we'll keep Ornithopter from our opponent. Okay, double Ornithopter into a Plains. Luxobots, maybe. No, they can't be running, Loris. So, rare. Aethervile's a good pickup. All right, Plains into the Aethervile. Pass the turn there. Plains from our opponent. Pure Steel Paladin. Okay, so Hammer Time. Passing to us. Well, we'll put a counter on our Aethervile. On Thin Ice is a very good pickup here, isn't it? Ghost Quarter. On Thin Ice. Let's hit that Pure Steel. Pass the turn there. Silent Clearing from our opponent. Cracks it to draw. Paradise Mantle. And equipping the Paradise Mantle to the Ornithopter. No attacks. Passes to us. A counter on our Aethervile. Another Skyclave. Okay, definitely would have preferred a land there. Let's just pass. And then once we get this Aethervile on 3, I think we're okay. Okay, Loris to hand. Plains from our opponent. Passes to us. Aethervile. Yes. Stoneforge Mystic. Let's get ourselves a Batterskull. Go to our turn. Tick up that Aethervile. Snow-covered Plains is good. I think we just pass, holding up Batterskull coming down and Aetherviling in either Flicker Wisp or Skyclave. Sigarda's Aid. Okay, swings in. Yep, no blocks from us. So we do get punished here if their last card is Colossus Hammer, I think. But we go Aethervile. Yes. Skyclave. Hit the Sigarda's Aid. Yep, opponent has the second hammer. It's all right. We've got a second cut Skyclave, so we can take that away. way. Yep, gonna get hit for 10. Put that Batterskull into play. Go to our turn. Eighth Vial will sit on 3. Land. Does land help us? I think it does. Sword of Fire and Ice on the Germ token. Go to combat. Swing at our opponent. We'll swing in for 6. Keep the Skyclave back. Shoot the Ornithopter down that we can hit. Draw a Plains. So our opponent only has Loris in hand. Yep, use its ability. Skyclave Apparition. We're just going to take the Ornithopter. And opponent scoops it up. Okay, hammer time. Need the paths for the instant speed. Mirroring Crusader's not doing a lot. Thalia's doing some stuff. Revokers can name the hammer as well. Guess we don't need the champions. I think we can trim 1 Stoneforge, 1 Sword of Fire and Ice. Let's trim 1 of the On Thin Ices. See what we can do. I really want to keep this. Opponent's keeping their 7 though. This is too slow. All right, mulligan. This one's even worse. Mulligan this one. Think we're going to have to keep this one, unfortunately. So our removal's pretty bad. Spells are pretty bad. Do we have a better 4? I don't think we do. Let's keep. All right, put 2 cards to the bottom. Well, we can't cast On Thin Ice. We still can't cast Path to Exile. I think it is just second Giver of Runes though. Any white land we can cast Path to Exile. I suppose that's true for On Thin Ice as well. But it's not instant speed. Plains from our opponent. Into a Giver of Runes. Okay. Into a Mishra's Bauble. Cracking the Bauble, looking at our top card. Well, at least they'll know what it is before we do. And it is a On Thin Ice. Scrybug. Eighth Vial. Pass the turn. Plains from our opponent. Stoneforge Mystic. Could be in trouble already. Colossus Hammer. Okay. Passes to us. Counter on our Eighth Vial. Thalia. Not particularly helpful here. Pass the turn. Inkmoth Nexus from our opponent. Sigarda's Aid. That is certainly presenting the threat. Activate our Eighth Vial. Giver of Runes. And we'll block that Stoneforge Mystic. Colossus Hammer now. Okay. Have a second one in hand, do they? Yep. Eats our Giver of Runes. Steel Shaper's Gift. Getting the second Colossus Hammer. Okay. Well, put a counter on our Eighth Vial. That is a land. So we have to hope they don't have a land, I guess. On Thin Ice. Target the Giver. Yep. Gives the Stoneforge Mystic protection from white. Then we will use Eighth Vial. Put Thalia into play. And we just have to hope they don't have the land. That's the land. Yep. All right. We're done. They got us. Just didn't draw the lands, unfortunately. Is there anything else we change? Let's go down 2 Revokers for 2 Aven Mind Sensors. Run it back like that. Yes, I would like to play first. Okay, we can keep this one. Lands and spells. Look at that. Snow-covered plains. Into the Eighth Vial. Pass the turn there. Plains for our opponent. Giver of Runes. It's just happy to pass. Oh, I'd love an Arbiter here. No, Flicker Wisp, not bad. Well, plains and pass. Mishra's Bauble from our opponent. Cracking the Bauble. And there's the Sigarda's Aid. And no land. Okay, well, in the end step, Giver of Runes, come on down. Tick up our Eighth Vial. Another Wisp, okay. Well, let's play the Ghost Quarter. Skyclave, take out that Sigarda's Aid. Pass the turn there. And hopefully they falter on lands. No, they have the second one. And they have the Pure Steel Paladin. Okay, and an Ornithopter. Passes back to us. Eighth Vial, ticking up. Just rip a Batterskull off the top. Okay. Let's go to combat. Swing in for 2. It takes it down to 18. So do we just play a Flicker Wisp now and get the Giver? I think we do. I think we do. Flicker Wisp. The Skyclave Apparition. Opponent gets a 1/1. We get a Skyclave Apparition. And we're going to take your Giver of Runes. Pure Steel Paladin getting protection from white. Pass to the opponent. Paradise Mantle. Okay. Yep, they can draw a card. Blinkmoth Nexus. Steel Shaper's Gift. Okay. Colossus Hammer. And the Sigarda's Aid. Okay. Opponent swings in. We're going to block with the Flicker Wisp. They cast the Colossus Hammer. Okay. Let's give the Flicker Wisp protection from colorless. Opponent's going to equip the Paradise Mantle to the Illusion. Okay. And I think we're going to activate Eighth Vial now in the second main. Flicker Wisp, come on down. Blink our Skyclave Apparition. Oh, opponent has the Path. Nasty. Good top deck opponent. Yeah, we could have just blinked the Colossus Hammer, I guess, but where's the fun in that? All right, Eighth Vial staying on 3. Giver of Runes. I think we lead on the Giver of Runes here. Go to the old combat step. Swing in for 3. Just pass the turn. Opponent puts Loris to hand. Plays a Plains. Okay, so only Loris in hand. Ooh, they're using the Paradise Mantle to generate mana to get it out. That's very clever. I like that. Themselves a Mishra's Bauble. We get to see our top card. No attacks from our opponent. Passes to us. Keep the Eighth Vial where it is. Let's lead on Batterskull here. Pass the turn and hope to draw a way to deal with that Loris. Mishra's Bauble from our opponent, cracking it. Silent Clearing. Cranial Plating. Well, that one's going to hurt. Puts the Cranial Plating on the Ornithopter. Okay. And draws a card with Silent Clearing. Equips the Paradise Mantle to another illusion. Disenchant on our Batterskull. Wow, that hurts our feelings. Paradise Mantle on the Pure Steel Paladin. Passes the turn. Well, Eighth Vial staying where it is. Oh, the Ghost Quarter's certainly not bad. Let's play Leona an Arbiter, play a Ghost Quarter. They've done this so they can pay the Arbiter tax, I think. So let's just pass. Another Pure Steel Paladin. Mishra's Bauble, cracking the Bauble, looking at our top card. This just gives them perfect information on how to play around what we're doing. Moving the Paradise Mantle over. Moving the Cranial Plating over. Well, this hints at removal, doesn't it? Nope, just spreading out their threats. Passes to us. Well, they've seen what we're going to draw, so maybe that's why they've done it. On Thin Ice. Could just try and go for Loris here. I think that's how we get ahead. We stop their advantage engine, take out the Loris. Opponent's just casting a Colossus Hammer. Okay, drawing some cards. Well, no attacks from us. Pass the turn there. We are very behind, but maybe we can get ahead. Maybe. Okay, opponent Steel Shapers, but doesn't pay the Arbiter tax. Now they pay the Arbiter tax. And they Steel Shapers again. Okay, what a flex. Mishra's Bauble looks at our top card. Blink Moth Nexus. Okay, no, Ink Moth Nexus. Making a big Ornithopter. Ooh, that'll do it. I think that'll do it, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, round 2. We've won the die roll. It was pretty unimpressive round 1, but like Taylor Swift always says, shake it off. Gonna play first one lander, but I think I'm gonna keep because it's got the Vial. Play Snow-Covered Plains into Aether Vial. Pass the turn there. Eldrazi Temple from our opponent to an Expedition map. So Eldrazi Tron. Land off the top, please. Hey, well, Stoneforge Mystic against Eldrazi. Let's go for the Batterskull. We've got a second Stoneforge Mystic that we can use to grab another piece of equipment if we would like it. Cavern of Souls from our opponent. Dismember on the Stoneforge. Okay, Aether Vial, Giver of Runes. Aether Vial ticking up. Let's run out Uriok Champion, pass the turn. Ghost Quarter from our opponent. Certainly makes our On Thin Ice a little bit more laughable, doesn't it? Thought Not Seer, gonna enter. We will gain a life, and then yeah, in response, we're going to have to Aether Vial, Stoneforge Mystic, use its ability, Sword of Fire and Ice. Gain another life. Now maybe they take the Skyclave here. Ooh, opponent doesn't even want to fight it out. Very nice. Did they forget that Ghost Quarter deals with On Thin Ice pretty handily? I think because they're running the Ghost Quarters, we might have to ditch the On Thin Ice for Path to Exile. Let's take out Urioks. Put in a couple of Revokers, maybe? We might actually need the On Thin Ices still. Revokers named Ballista. It's kind of Wisp. Skyclave can't take. Okay, get rid of the Aether Vial as well. Bring in an On Thin Ice, just so we have 4 pieces of removal for a Reality Smasher. And let's go into game 2. Well, as good as this hand is, which it isn't, we cannot keep. 1 white land, and I would have kept. Mulligan. This one's better. We're going to keep Plains to the bottom. Eldrazi Temple from our opponent. Into the Expedition map. Okay. Scrybug. Snow-Covered Plains. Into Giver of Runes. Pass the turn. Cavern of Souls. Choosing Eldrazi. Chalice of the Void on 1. Okay. Got Flicker Wisp for that if that's a problem. Snow-Covered Plains. Stoneforge. Let's get the Batterskull. Pass the turn there. There's his Power Plant. Yeah. Into the Thought Knot. The Wisp would be quite the power move here. No, they just take the Batterskull. Interesting. Passes to us. Another Snow-Covered Plains. Well, we'll just play out Snow-Covered Plains. Flicker Wisp. Hit the Chalice. Pass the turn there. Chalice returns on 0. It's swinging in with the Thought Knots here. Block with a Stoneforge. Try and give protection from Coldus. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, that worked. Yeah, opponent just cracking an Expedition map. Get themselves an Urza's Tower. Runs out a Maze Mine Tome. Opponent passes back to us. Arbiter. I like it. Hello, Arbiter. Path to Exile on that Thought Knots here. I'll take a new card. Thank you very much. Thalia. Okay. 1 away from Tron. They've got the Eldrazi Temple. So if we take away the Temple, they can't play Reality Smasher next turn unless they have the Tron piece. We take away a Tron piece, we take them off Tron potentially next turn. What are we scared more of? Reality Smasher or Tron? I think it's Tron. What did they tutor for? They tutored for the Urza's Tower. We'll take them off the Urza's Tower. Go to combat. Big swing. Get in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 16. Pass the turn there. Maze Mine Tome. Goes to their turn. An Expedition map. Okay, that's not great. And a second Maze Mine Tome. Okay. Opponent's going to get a lot of cards. They're passing to us though. Mirren Crusader. They're stuck on lands. I think this turn's a Mirren Crusader turn. God, I love Mirren Crusader. Just look at that. Just look at that guy. Klingon sword and everything. Just gorgeous card. And the double strike certainly helps close out the game. Swinging for 6. Pass the turn there. Opponent using the Maze Mine. Yes! Yes. All right, cool. Took down Eldrazi Tron. Very happy with how that went. Okay, round 3 and we've lost the die roll. I'm going to keep this one. Blooded Strand from our opponent. Passes to us. Well, Plains into the Aether Vial. Hope to dodge Force of Negation. Oh, cracking the Flooded Strand in response. Steam Vents. Untapped. Cycling Windcaller Aven. Okay, so, and there's the Force of Negation. Right, so they're using their graveyard, and I took out all my graveyard hate. Botanical Sanctum, yeah, passes to us. Uriok Champion that we can't cast yet. So Field of Ruin, Giver of Runes, pass the turn there. Cycling in our end step. Unfortunately, I don't think we really interact with this in any meaningful way, so we might just get Romper Stomped. Botanical Sanctum, passing to us. Ghost Quarter. That doesn't unlock anything in our hand. Play Ghost Quarter. Say we just pass here, we can Field of Ruin to get double white next turn. Just flash in a Brazen Borrower. It's a flying beater. Spire Bluff Canal from our opponent. Swings in the air for 3. We're going to take it. In the end step, Field of Ruin that Steam Vents. Got to get a double white. Maybe they're not running any basics. They're running basics. But hey, they're off double red. Stoneforge, okay. Let's lead on Thin Ice. Take out that Brazen Borrower. Try for a Stoneforge. Stoneforge resolves, okay. Yes, use its ability. What do we need here? Is it Batterskull or is it Fire and Ice? Eek. Everything's blue. Maybe Fire and Ice. Yeah, okay. Fire and Ice. And it turns any creatures that survive the wipe that is coming, because one is coming, turns them all into big threats. Misty Rainforest from our opponent. And they're just happy passing there. Stoneforge. Put in the Fire and Ice. To equip it to the Giver of Runes. Go to the old combat step. Swing in for 3. Opponent takes it. 2 to their face. Run on Thin Ice. Okay, that helps us deal with creatures that come back. Just pass the turn there. Opponent cracking the Misty Rainforest. Getting a Breeding Pool, tapped, okay. Flooded Strand. Just passing the turn there. Another Skyclave, not bad. Let's go to combat. Swing in with both. Opponent takes it. Get an Arbiter. Well, Arbiter resolved. Pass the turn there. Opponent doesn't pay the Arbiter tax. Okay, well, let's hit their red as well. Yep, still doesn't pay the Arbiter tax. Cycling a Windcaller Raven. Gives that Arbiter flying. Thank you. A flying cat. Birds stand no chance. And opponent scoops it up. All right, misplayed into the Arbiter twice. And they've had enough. Okay, so they're definitely doing that graveyard shenanigans. Oh boy, I don't know how to beat that though. Thalia does a pretty good job so far, and then I think maybe Eidolon of Rhetoric might be the play. Let's trim a couple of Mirren Crusaders. Skyclaves honestly feel like they might be a liability if anything. All their stuff's really big. And then they're just going to wipe, so they'll get their tokens. So let's cut the Skyclaves for the Aven Mind Sensors. Bring in a path. Is Ryuk Champion doing anything? Not really. Bring in the 2 paths. Run it back like that. If we never draw another land again, this hand is very good. Because as we've seen, we can mulligan and we end up having to go down to 4 because we can't hit any colored lands. We're going to keep Steam Vents from our opponent. Untapped. Okay. Passes to us. Path to Exile's pretty good. Pass the turn there. Cycles a Windcaller Raven. Cycles a Desert Ceradon and has a Mana Confluence. Passes to us. Snow-covered Plains. Thalia. And cycling a Curator of Mysteries. Pass the turn there. Haven't seen many basics. Cycling a Desert Ceradon. Cycling a Striped Riverwinder. Pass the turn. Flicker Wisp. Okay, let's go Plains. Swing in for 2. Opponent passes. Cycles a Riverwinder. Cycles a Curator of Mysteries. Okay. Aven Mind Sensor. Go to our turn. Another Flicker Wisp. Not bad. Well, let's Ghost Quarter. Let's go for the Steam Vents. And opponent scoops up the match. Pinch them on lands. Very nice, very nice. Okay, I was worried about that one, but we got there. All right, we've lost the Dine Roll. 3 spells, 4 lands. We're going to keep, even though they're not too high impact. Rawgrim Triome for our opponent. Pretty gross. Another land, exactly the opposite of what we wanted to see. Play the land, play the Aether Vial, pass the turn. Flagstones, counter on our Aether Vial. Let's run out the Ghost Quarter. Pass the turn there. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Maybe it's just 5 color stuff. Aether Vial, yes. Giver of Runes. Cracks the Windswept Heath in their end step. It's a Ketria Triome. Tick up our Aether Vial. Another Aether Vial. It's getting kind of gross, deck. Let's play Field of Ruin and let's go after the Rawgrim Triome. Get ourselves a Snow-covered Plains. Opponent just gets an island. No attacks this turn, just in case of a blind Snapcaster taking out our only creature. And we pass the turn. Breeding Pool, tapped from our opponent. Passes to us. Well, let's tick up both Aether Vials. Skyclave, okay. Let's go Field of Ruin. Let's hit that Ketria Triome. Get a Snow-covered Plains. Opponent does have the red land. But like, how many red basics could you have? I mean, really, like, how many? More than 1? Less than 1? Well, the decks only run the 1 mountain for the Blood Moon style stuff, because all the other ones turned into mountains. Yeah, they've only got the 1 mountain. All right, pass the turn there. We're just not presenting a clock, unfortunately. But if we can keep them off red, all will be well with the world. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Okay, I think we Aether Vial, Skyclave, try and take the Dryad. That worked. Opponent's still off red mana. Tick up our second Aether Vial. First one can stay where it is. That's an Arbiter. Play a Snow-covered Plains. go to combat, swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 15. Oh, I hope they play Land Titan next turn. Please, Land Titan. That'd be so good. Land. Just passing. Well, Aetherval, Arbiter. Aethervals can stay where they are. Oish. Go to combat, swing in for 4. I wonder if this is actually like an Omnath deck. Yep, pays the Arbiter tax, Windswept Heath for a Savar Triome, and we're out of land destruction. So yep, they've got red mana now. And the swamp, so it's 5 color. Niv. Okay, opponent does nothing and passes. Aethervals can stay where they are. Mirran Crusader. Okay, well, let's swing in for 4. Opponent takes it down to 6. We'll play the plains and we will pass the turn. Supreme Verdict from our opponent. Okay, gets themselves an illusion. Gonna try for the Mirran Crusader now. Aethervals can stay where they are. Let's go for an On Thin Ice. Opponent remands, so let's go for an On Thin Ice. Yeah, swing in for 4. Double tap. All right, pass the turn there. Any creatures would be good deck. Any creatures. Opponent's got the Bring to Light. So yeah, this is Niv to Light, I would say. Nope, just an Omnath. Opponent's going to draw a card, play a land. Up to 6. That is egregious. Passes to us. Aethervals can stay where they are. Skyclave Apparition. Opponent's going to gain a bunch of life as well, aren't they? Because they got the Misty Rainforest. This is definitely an example where Path would have been better because then they would have gained 4. Whereas now, because there's another land drop, they get to gain 8 over 2 turns. It's an Overgrown Tomb tapped. Up to 9. Take the Omnath. Swing in for 4, passes the turn there. Cleansing Wildfire. Certainly a downside to On Thin Ice presenting itself here. Okay, yes, we'll use its ability, get ourselves a Snow-Covered Plains. And then in response to the draw trigger, to prevent our opponent from gaining any more life, Skyclave is going to eat that Omnath, and now we are presenting lethal, so our opponent has to act. We have 8 cards in hand and 5 mana. They've probably got something, although they've only got 1 white, so if it was a board white, bad luck. Teferi, that hurts, bounces the Skyclave. Okay, and Valki, God of Lies, to take our Skyclave. Passes to us, keep our Aethervals where they are. Oh, On Thin Ice, pretty priced into taking the token, aren't we? Go to combat, let's hit them. Can't block, down to 1. Pass the turn there. Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Scape Shift, 7 lands. Well, we're dead. Certainly got us there. See if they make a mistake. No, they do not. Well, we're dead. We tried. All right. Mind Sensors can come in. Rick Champion, is that doing anything? No, all their removal's board wipes, isn't it? All right. Path to Exile's in. Opponent has plenty of answers for the On Thin Ices. Let's trim 2 and a Wisp. Tempted with Revoker as well. No, we'll just run it back like this. Hope to get a faster start. Yes, I'd like to play first. We start with a 5-lander and now we got a 1-lander. 1-lander with 2 paths though. Let's keep. Risky keep. It's worth the risk though. We've got the 2 hate cards in it. Snow-Covered Plains and pass. Rorgan Triumph from our opponent. Hey, Snow-Covered Plains, and that's the Arbiter down. Pass the turn there. Flagstones from our opponent. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, so if we played Stoneforge, they would be at 4 mana now. So I'm okay with this decision. Snow-Covered Plains, go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down at 18. We're going to pass the turn there. Windswept Heath from our opponent. Passes. Skyclave. Okay, well, go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down at 18. Pass the turn. They pay the Arbiter tax. Crack that Windswept Heath. Overgrown Tomb. Just 1 more land and I'd be happy. Steam Vents tapped from our opponent. Elvish Reclaimer. Passes to us. Another Arbiter. Let's go to combat. Swing in for 2. Opponent takes it down to 13. Let's go with the other Arbiter. Pass the turn there. And then next turn we've got double path up. Yep. Omnath. Omnath. Yeah, they play a mountain. Cool. This makes our turn so much better. All right, we do draw the Snow-Covered Plains. I think right now, though, we're just going to go path, combat, attack in for 2. Attack in for 2 lots of 2, so 4. Opponent takes it down to 13. We're going to pass the turn there. Got an Aven Mind Sensor as a backup in case of escape shift. Life is good. That's the Dryad. That's the Valakut. Takes away our Arbiter. Well, I think we're going to have to take away the Dryad this turn, unfortunately. Field of Ruin. Okay. Skyclave. Take away that Dryad. Could have removal for the Skyclave. Swing in. It's a risk we're going to take. They do have removal for the Skyclave, but then they would have just bolted the Arbiter anyway. Definitely means we don't get to keep a 2/2 on the field, but oh well. Maybe we survive this turn. Misty Rainforest from our opponent. Swings in for 3. We're down to 17. Crack in the Misty Rainforest. Ooh, not looking good. Just let us untap. Just let us untap. Nope. Well, they probably have enough mountains. They sacrificed the Valakut as well? Is that correct? Well, it's correct enough. That's 6 triggers and we are dead. Yeah. I mean, I thought maybe we'd get away with 1 more turn with the Aven Mind Sensor, but unfortunately we did not. Won the die roll. I would like to play first. Yeah, we're going to play planes into Giver of Runes. Pass the turn there. Versus Power Plant into an expedition map from our opponent. Well, let's play Ghost Quarter, Leonin Arbiter, and pass. Pretty perfect hand for Tron, I hope. Eldrazi Tron again. Matter Reshaper. And it passes to us. Well, let's go on thin ice. Let's get that Matter Reshaper out of the way. Let's blow up the Eldrazi Temple. Go to combat. Swing in for 2. Hope to draw a runner of lands for the rest of the game. Either that or it's Giver Beats. Pass the turn. Chalice of the Void on 1. Okay, well, Giver Beats are kind of out the window. Pass to us. Another Flicker Wisp. Not bad. Just need to draw the lands to play it. Swing in for 2 again. It takes down to 16. Pass the turn. There's his Tower. Okay. And it passes. Another Flicker Wisp. Again, just want the lands to cast them. Leonin Arbiter. Getting it. Opponent takes it down to 14. Pass the turn. Blast Zone. Gross. Passes to us. Stoneforge that we cannot cast. Swing in for 2. And it takes it down to 12. Pass the turn there. Yep. Ignores the Arbiter effect. Cracks the Expedition map. Gets the Urza's Mine. Can't exile our land would pretty much get the concede from me. Chalice of the Void on 2. Okay. And a Reality Smasher. Okay. Swings in for 5. Take it down to 5. Down to 15. Mirran Crusader, and we scoop it up. I would keep that hand again. Just unfortunate. Yeah, look, turn 7, so turn 9 we would have hit our 3rd land. There's just nothing you can do to prepare for that, I suppose. Alright, next one. Let's bring in the Revokers, hey, against this one. Don't see the Uric Champions doing anything particularly useful. Path to Exile for some cleaner removal. Let's cut the Mirran Crusaders, a Stoneforge, and a Sword of Fire and Ice. Let's go up 2 Revokers. I do want to bring in the Aven Mind Sensors. Alright, I'm insane. I'm cutting another Stoneforge. Yell at me in the comments all you want. 2 Stoneforges in the deck, 2 equipment to get. That just makes sense. Okay, we're going to keep this one. Snow-covered plains, pass. There's Power Plant. It passes to us. Revoker, not bad. Stoneforge Mystic. Use its ability. Get the Batterskull. Pass the turn there. There's his Tower from our opponent. It's going to be Natural Tron. That'd be pretty gross. Snow-covered plains. Natural Tron would hurt. Natural Tron would hurt. Alright. In the blind, Phyrexian Revoker. Khan liberated. Let's hope that worked. Swinging for 1. It takes it down to 19. There's his mine from our opponent. Ugin the Ineffable. Okay. A Walking Ballista, where X equals 1. Shoots the Revoker. Well, I guess we called the right card then. And they're going to destroy the Stoneforge. Okay. Passes to us. Ghost Quarter. Let's go after the Power Plant. They do have a Wastes. I think Naked Skyclave is correct here. Pass the turn there. Ticking up the Ugin. Has another Power Plant. Reality Smasher. Okay. Khan the Great Creator. Okay. Ticking up. That's the flagship. Yep. I'm not going to continue to play this game because of this. Alright. Mono White Taxes with on thin ice, Uric Champion, Mirran Crusader, a 2-3 league. Disappointing, really. Like, Tron, certainly one of our better matchups, even Eldrazi Tron, and just completely overwhelmed in that last game. First match was alright, though. On Thin Ice. I think On Thin Ice is very good, and I do genuinely think it's very good. But versing the Omnath deck and stuff, we certainly saw its weaknesses. Not being able to path them in response meant we couldn't kill them. Them being able to get back the creature from under the On Thin Ice is painful. Against Eldrazi Tron, if they had things like Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher that we tucked under there. If they had an Ugin, they could have down-ticked and got all that back. So I do think it's very good. However, I think the cost of running the snow-covered plains, not having any horizon lands, really reducing our utility land options, and them being able to just get the creature back is just a little bit too high. I think the cost is too high. Definitely in games like your Burn, your Prowess, faster decks would struggle a lot more with the On Thin Ice. But I guess as the format's slowing down, those decks are falling a bit out of favor. Mirran Crusader and Uric Champion, they're okay. I've definitely run Uric Champion in the main before. I enjoy it. It's very good against your Rakdos, your red, yeah, even your mono black decks because it has protection from all those colors. Certainly helps us against Burn, the incidental life gain, carries swords very well. Mirran Crusader, much the same, carries swords incredibly well. Protection against green and black for your Rock, Jund style matchups. Even a lot of blue-black decks or Esper style decks might not have the correct removal to deal with it. But I think personally I would prefer a Blade Splicer over the Mirran Crusader. You get the same 4 power a turn turn, but then also it's a colorless first striking golem that's a 3/3. You're able to blink it with the Flicker Wisps, which I've just realized I have mismatching Flicker Wisps, and I own these Flicker Wisps, so that's a problem. Sideboard, I think I was right. I didn't bring any graveyard hate in because I think the Mirran Crusader and Uric Champion deal very well with graveyard-based decks. Like Dredge, what's it going to do? We've got protection from black. Most of their stuff's black. We're able to just keep swinging in, dealing damage. We're taxing their mana base. And then against like all spells style decks, we've got the Field of Ruin and the Ghost Quarters, which punish those decks quite a lot. The sideboard was definitely tuned more to a Heliod meta. Phyrexian Revoker, good against general control decks. Linvala, able to just shut them down, as well as things like Elves, which is quite handy. That last game, played the Skyclave Apparition, get rid of the Dryad Elysian Grove, should have just held the mana up for the Aven Mind Sensor. That was definitely a mistake on my part. I genuinely think we could have won that one with the tools we had. Just, I prioritized getting the creatures out of the way. I thought maybe we could go one more turn, but I think Aven Mind Sensor was certainly the way to go there. Well, anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed the league. I hope it was educational, and until next time, have fun.